My name is Josh Long. I work on the spring team. I'm super happy to be here today. I'm super happy because obviously this is a nice place to be, but also because it's an amazing time to be a Java and Spring developer. And there's just an amazing ecosystem out there. And I don't know, we don't have all that much time, unfortunately, to look at everything today. But I figured we could try. Who's using Java? Good. No, that's great. I mean, this kind of stuff is like, hey, I don't know. I think we're in a really, really wonderful moment in time. There is no limit to what we can build today. There's no limit to the opportunities that lay before us in terms of the ecosystem and so on. And so I just really want like people to sort of like take a moment, just appreciate what we've got so far. Right? It's just an amazing time. So about me, my name is Josh Long. I work on the Spring team in my capacity as a Spring developer advocate, a Java champion, a Kotlin Google developer expert, a Microsoft MVP, and look, we all do things that we're ashamed of, not proud of. Okay, I am a YouTuber, so you can find me. Oh, you can find me here. It's not gonna be the worst mistake you make this year, but I'm not guaranteeing that. Okay, so just join me on. It's an adventure. I run this website. I run this little channel with my buddy Deshaun and my buddy James Ward. Deshaun Carter, James Ward, and then that's me on the. And maybe I can lose a little weight. Whatever. Moving on. There's an amazing ecosystem out there, right? And I just wanted to show you some of that cool stuff. So I figured we'd build an application, and of course, to motivate the application, we need a reason, right? What are we going to build an application for? It's weird when people just build things, sort of impromptu, right? And so I was thinking, well, like, I could show you the old Spring Pet Clinic. Some of you may recognize the Spring Pet Clinic. It's a sample application from days of yore. It's a 25-year-old application, and it's a sample application that demonstrates the best of the best. And I figured we could look at that, but that is very old. It's just very, very old. But I do like the idea. I like the concept of animals and dogs and cats and pets and the like. And I mean, who doesn't love animals? Come on, we all love animals. Who do you love your animal? Who's going to say no to that, right? I love almost all animals, except for my dog. He's terrible. Not a good dog. Just the worst. His name is Peanut. Okay, he's evil. He's not a good dog. We keep him for 3 reasons, though. Okay, for three very simple reasons. One is because even terrible dogs like Peanut deserve love, and so that's just a bedrock fact, and we keep him there for that reason. Another is, and I'm just going to be honest with you here, it's ego. Okay, in my home, my partner and my daughter both speak 5 languages. I only speak 3.5. If we didn't have that stupid dog, I would be the stupidest in the house. That will not stand. And then, of course, just being honest with you all here, just being real. I mean, he is really, really, really stinking cute. I mean, I know, but evil. Okay, pure malevolence. Not a good dog. And I'm telling you, he reminds me of another dog about which I learned during the pandemic, named Prancer. How many of you remember Prancer? Prancer went viral because his owner put out this advert saying, "Okay, I've tried for the last several months to post this dog for adoption and make him sound palatable. The problem is he's just not. There's not a very big market for neurotic, man-hating, animal-hating, children-hating dogs that look like gremlins." Yeah. Imagine the dog slander. I have to believe there's someone out there for Prancer because I'm tired and so is my family. And she just continues slandering this poor dog. She says that I was excited to see him come out of his shell and become a real dog. I'm convinced at this point that he's not a real dog, but more like a vessel for a traumatized Victorian child that now haunts our home. Okay? So again, this went viral, right? This ad went viral. It was on the news. Do you remember all the weird things we did during lockdown? One of the things I did was watch the TV when the news aired as it was airing, which is not a thing I've done before or since, right? And so I saw this. This is the only reason I saw this. And so this ad just keeps going and going. And she signs off and warns, she says, he's only 2 years old and will probably live to be 21 through pure spite. So take that into account. And anyway, very cute dog. I totally pet that dog. That's a cute dog right there. That said, maybe a little spicy, maybe a little bit of a handful. So I'm thinking we should build something to adopt dogs, even terrible ones like Peanut. and Prancer. So let's go back to my second favorite place on the internet. Obviously, my first favorite place on the internet is production. I love production. You should love production. You should go as early and often as possible. Bring the kids, bring the family. The weather's amazing. It's the happiest place on earth. But if you've never been to production, you can begin your journey here at start.spring.io. So what we're going to do is we're going to build an application. And friends, we have some choices that we need to make. First and foremost of which is, what version of Java do you want to use? There are 3 radio boxes here implying 3 equal choices. But friends, that's not true. It just isn't so. Java 25 is the current GA version of Java, and therefore the only correct version of Java. These other 2 radio boxes we keep just to see who makes terrible life decisions. Okay? You should never select these in any context whatsoever, especially if you want to have good code. Okay? And by the way, technically, Java 25 is better in every way. It's faster, more robust, more performant, more syntax rich, more operations friendly. Technically, it's better in every way. It's also morally superior. You won't like the look of sadness and shame in your children's eyes when they see that you're using Java 17 in production. Don't do this. Be the change you want to see in the world. Do the right thing. Use at least Java 25. It's also mathematically superior. This is just a simple fact. Java 25 is more than 3 times greater than Java 8. Simple math. It's a simple math, okay? So we're going to use Java 25 because it's awesome. And by the way, one of my favorite features in Java 25, how many of you have seen this? I'm going to write a Java script. Void main io.println hi CYC. Okay. And I'm going to do Java script.java. It's a script written in Java. It's a Java script. It's the only good JavaScript. Okay? So this is an amazing time. I mean, come on. It's awesome. And actually, one might wonder, how do I specify dependencies for this Java script? First person to suggest NPM leaves. It's a nightmare wrapped in a headache. No, instead, you can use a preprocessor like jbang.dev. It's an amazing community utility. And so I can do things like this. I can actually annotate my code with some comments, just regular valid Java comments, specifying the Java version and the dependencies I want. And then I can have a standalone top-level Spring MVC controller and a print line. And there's this thing that my friend Dave Sire and I wrote that's here. It's imported as source code, kind of like an include. And it specifies this thing called Spring Script. So now if I go over here to my desktop, I can say script, this one, and then do that, and then we go. Okay? So now I have a standalone Java script running on port 8080 at /hi. Much better. That's a single Java script. Very, very, very nice. The only good kind of Java script. Okay? So I'm going to go back to here, start.spring.io. We're going to build a new application, and we don't have a lot of time, so let's bring in the GraalVM web support, the PG vector support. Do we want to do that? Yeah, why not? We want to bring in an AI module of some sort. We'll bring in OpenAI. We're going to bring in a SQL data mapping layer. I'll use Spring Data JDBC. And this, of course, implies Postgres. I've got a Postgres database running in the background there. I'll bring in Spring Security because why not? Just usual stuff. Maybe I'll bring in the actuator. I think I'm happy with all that. What about you? Is that okay? Let's go ahead and open this up. And I'm going to go here to my folder, my downloads directory. I'm going to run this script that's in my shell. It's an alias that points to a Java script. So anyway, UAO assistant.zip. It's just going to run, unzip, and open from within Java. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to build a simple application that talks to our database and supports answering questions. And of course, in order to talk to that database, we need to specify our connectivity. So our secret. Don't tell anybody that. A username is my user. And of course, the URL is jdbc:/postgresql localhost my database. Okay. So now I'm connected to my application, and I can use it to start answering questions about the dogs in the shelter. Let's imagine we have a fictitious dog adoption agency helping people house dogs, even the terrible ones like Peanut and Prancer, in homes of their dreams. Okay, so, everything okay? Okay. I thought Peanut maybe sent word. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to build a simple dog controller, okay? And we're going to create a little endpoint here that returns all the dogs, okay, that are in the database. So at controller, at response body. And of course, in order to work with dogs, I need to create a data access layer. So I'll do that here. I'm going to create a Spring Data repository that manages entities of type dog and whose primary key is of type integer. And of course, in order to define the dog, I need to have an entity. So I'll use Java records. I love Java records. How many of you are using Java records? I mean, huge fan, huge fan, right? Big win right there. Okay. So let's go ahead and use that down here. And we're going to just inject that here, private final dog repository, add that to the constructor. And I'll just go down here and return all the dogs. Okay. So repository.find all. Find all. Voila. Okay. Let's try this. And this is going to be locked down, isn't it? We need to open it up for a second here, because we can't try it out. Isn't that the case? So we go over here. Where's our security? This way. Okay. Oops. We'll need to bring back security in a sec. What should I call it? Here we call it slippery. Okay. Here we go. Take 502. All right. Now we're cooking. Let's see. Localhost dogs. There's our dogs, okay? There's all the different dogs in the database. And you can see our buddy Prancer there. His ID is 45. His name is Prancer. And he's, again, described as a demonic, neurotic, man-hating, animal-hating, children-hating dog that looks like a gremlin, taken directly from the advert. Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you. Good. So let's go ahead now and create we've got the access to the data. I want to be able to find the dogs in the shelter. And obviously, I want to be able to ask questions. Imagine this is like an actual agent that helps us ask questions about animals in the shelter. And so, you want to have some agency there, right? You want to have some really intelligent responses there. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Spring AI, which is your one-stop shop for building AI integrations. And I really think this is an amazing time and an amazing opportunity for us because most of the enterprise runs on Java, and it's very natural to extend these Java installations with AI integrations. When people talk about AI engineering, remember, dollars to donuts, 99% of the time, they're talking to a REST API. There's nothing endemic to the Python community or any other community that makes them better suited, quite the contrary, in fact, to this kind of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to just build a simple controller here that lets you ask questions, okay? We'll say assistant, and we'll respond. So question, request param, string question, okay? And we're going to use the Spring AI chat client. The chat client is your one-stop shop for all chat model interactions, right? So I'm going to inject this chat client builder, and I'll build it as we set it up. And I'm a big fan of the chat client. This is written by the best people, right? The best people that could write code did write code for this. So I'm quite confident it'll serve your use case as well. But let's see. Here we go. So this .ai.prompt, passing in the question. Here we are. And then asking for the response back. Then we could get it typed to a strongly typed entity, or we could just ask for it as a string, which will suit us just fine. So let's go ahead and just make sure it's working, I guess. So HTTP 8080 assistant question equals hi. Okay, let's just is a dial tone working, that kind of, there we go. Okay, so it's working. Okay, good stuff. Now I wanted to let's ask, do you have any tip dogs? Oh, so it's trying to help, but it's not really, it doesn't know what we're trying to get done here, right? It doesn't know that there are dogs in the shelter that it should be responding about. It's just, it has no idea of its mission, of its focused goal. So what we need to do is to give it some access to the data and to give it a system prompt. Now, a system prompt is an overriding governing prompt. And I happen to have a system prompt here on my desktop. I'm going to cat this and then write it out to the buffer like, wait, no, I'm so sorry. That's wrong. Much better. Okay, now take that, copy and paste, go over here, var system equals, paste that in there, and we'll just say default system. Okay, so that's the system prompt. We're saying, hey, you're an AI-powered assistant to help people adopt a dog from the agency named Pooch Palace with locations in Antwerp, Seoul, Tokyo, Singapore, Paris, Mumbai, New Delhi, Barcelona, San Francisco, and London. Did I say Antwerp? I meant Plano, surely. Okay, so there's that. And then we want to give it access to the data as well. And that data is in a vector store. It's been embedded and it's in the vector store. So I want to support RAG, right? Retrieval Augmented Generation. And I'll do that by providing a filter, an interceptor, called the Question Answer Advisor. And this is going to select possible candidates from the vector store. In this case, the vector store is Postgres. I'm using it in both as a SQL database and a vector store. And it's going to use that to inform the response it then sends to the model for final analysis, which will then rate the final responses and give us the actual response. Okay, so now, I'm going to configure that here on the AI client, the default advisor. Okay, there's this. And now we can restart the program. And now we can ask it another sort of hard-hitting question. Do you have any neurotic dogs? Yeah. Yes, we have a neurotic dog available for adoption. Meet Prancer. Okay, so now we've got an AI model that's able to answer questions about the dogs in the shelter. We're making progress, and we still have some time. We have a lot of time, in fact. This is the problem with Spring. It's just way too productive. So what we need to do now is to think about getting this thing into production, right? And there's a lot of concerns here. How do I get a Docker image? Well, obviously, in Spring Boot, you can just use, Maven Spring Boot build -image, and that'll produce a Docker image. Okay, good. Now, but still, am I ready for production? Once I have that container, is this going to be something you want to run in production? There's a couple things you might change. First of all, you might want to enable virtual threads, right? Virtual threads are a wonderful thread. So virtual threads enabled is true. This is a feature that's based on something in Java 21, which gives us the equivalent of async await in all the other languages and platforms out there. So if you've ever used async await, then you'll know what a pain that is, right? It permeates all your code. Everything you do needs to be refactored to take advantage of that. Here in Java, it's just a thread executor that you define one place. And usually, if you're just using Spring Boot, you just set a property and you're done, right? Now, this is rare. Just take a moment to appreciate what's happening here. This is the first and arguably the last time that Java has had a feature that's nicer than what the other languages have. Just enjoy this. Breathe it in. Just soak it up, okay? It won't happen again. Oh, accidental awesomeness, but it's still awesome, okay? So you get the scalability as if you were using reactive programming or as if you were using async await or Go routines in Go or something like that without any of the implied complexity and verbosity of those other inferior solutions, okay? So this is a good result. Scalability, yeah. Is our program fast? Can we make it fast, right? How can we make it fast? Well, first of all, it's worth stating that Java is already very, very energy efficient and it's very, very fast. How many of you have seen this? This is this blog is from 2018, before the COVID pandemic, or BC, and it asked the question, which programming languages use the least electricity? Hey, go away. I don't know who that is, and I don't care. It asked the question, which programming languages use the least electricity? And the results won't surprise you, right? C, most energy efficient for machines, not people. Rust, zero cost abstractions, well done, good job. C++, oh, silly, disgusting. Moving on. Ada, nobody cares, and then Java. Okay, now Java, top 5 most energy efficient language. Okay, top 5. Bear in mind, the first 4 are compiled. It's that fifth one. That fifth one is a virtual machine, right? So this is again why I love running my Java scripts on Java. Okay, now there's other languages here we can talk about briefly. C#, Pi, it's delicious. Go, okay, fine, go away. We have F#, and then I don't even, the Y. Why is this a Y? In any, never apply the rules of the real world to JavaScript, the bad kind, okay? It doesn't make any sense. In any normal universe, if you constrain the optimization and execution of code, you get faster results, but not so here. Somehow, TypeScript is 4 or 5 times less performant and energy efficient than JavaScript. Makes no sense. They've broken the idea of a type system. Anyway, moving on. These 2 languages, bleh. And then these 2 languages. JRuby is Ruby on the JVM. Ruby is Ruby in C. And yet JRuby, by dint of having been built on the JVM, is a third more energy efficient than Ruby. Again, the JVM is boss sauce software. It's awesome, okay? It's a really, really nice piece of kit. So it is very efficient, but is it fast? Well, again, how many of you have seen the 1BRC challenge? right? Here's the 1BRC challenge. In January of last year, one of our friends and fellow Java champions, Gunnar Morling, asked people to write a program that loads 1 billion rows of weather station telemetry data in this format, and then calculates some statistics and dump out the result and then exit as quick as programmatically possible. And the results are pretty good. I mean, here's the first result, 1.5 seconds. That's 13 gigs of text, 13 gigabytes of text. Okay, so you load all of it, compute some statistics, print out the results, and then exit in 1.5 seconds. You go down the line here, you've got, 1.58, 1.6, 1.8, 1.9, 2.0, all these good things. So clearly, there's something that's interesting here. Most of them are using GraalVM native images. GraalVM native images are a technology that allows you to ahead of time compute the possible code execution in your binary and get a statically linked self-contained native binary. Hey, nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our application into a native image. But I will tell you, there's one little bit of a drawback. It just takes a while, right? It takes a long time. I get bored easily. I don't like having to wait because it's doing this computation at runtime about what should be in the binary at compile time. Rather, it's doing it so that it can figure out what should be there for runtime. So I get bored very easily, and I said, "Hey, Oracle, please play elevator music during the native image compilation process." I said, I already hear elevator music in my head when I do these sometimes long-running compilations. I'd just like everybody else to hear it too. Thank you in advance, and I appreciate your amazing work. And I got some great responses. This one says it points to a sample soundtrack from the Nintendo 64 adoption of the first Pierce Brosnan outing as James Bond in 1994's GoldenEye. Okay, so I like that one. This one says, I'd add that using beeps in general, not only for the native image, really helped me. Yes, true, like a microwave. And then here, Dr. Fabio Niephaus, he's a researcher on the GraalVM team. He said, thanks for your feature request, Josh. The problem with playing music during the compilation is that it just fixes the symptoms. And we've been and are still working on the cause, making GraalVM more efficient in terms of time, memory, and CPU consumption. Go on. I have prototyped a -- Josh Long mode. So what this would do is when you run it, it would start the Josh Long mode. You would see music brought to you by Josh Long. This is a picture, but don't let that stop you from understanding that music is playing at this point. Now you're wondering where it came from. Who did this to you? Why is it happening now? You don't know. You see the console. You're relaxed like a cow. Now you can understand what's happening, but you're still bored. You're still waiting. So it would print out a picture of me in my spring shirt as well, which I think that'll be a great addition to the compiler. The problem is it hasn't been merged yet. So last year, we had a person in the community who fixed it. Okay, so there's this amazing Maven plugin inspired by my GitHub issue, and then this plugin. We're just going to add this to our build quickly to make our life a little bit easier. Okay, so let's copy and paste all that. Go back to the build. Okay, and I'm going to just paste this down here. Here we go. 2.0. Reload. Okay, go to the command line here. Yep. Skip tests, p native :compile. And we'll let this do its thing. It's gonna take a little while, That's how I do it. There's a Maven daemon. Have you heard of this? If the daemon reloads the build whenever you make a change, don't use that with it. Because it'll just keep playing the same music over and over all day, and it'll drive you batty. But anyway, so I do. One of my friends at Spotify actually sent a pull request so you can configure the plugin to use a Spotify playlist or track instead. Yes, this is what I'm here for. So let's see here. Look at beware of the RAM as well. Look at that. Did you see that? That's 28 gigs or 1 slack of RAM. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, so the program's compiled. Go over here, assistant. Okay. Oh, ports in use. No problem. Go over here and stop it. Go over here again. And there we are, 0.2 seconds. And much more importantly, here's the RAM. PS-O RSS, resident set size. Divide that by 1,000 because it's in kilobytes. So it's 157 megs for an application that has AI, that has virtual threads, that's statically self-contained, has a web server, data access technology, and security, and so much more. Although they didn't demonstrate the security. And really, I mean, just go to any web page ever in Chrome, and your tab will take a gig, right? Just that one little tab. That's JavaScript. This is JavaScript, okay? Look, my friends, there's never been a better time to be a Java and Spring developer. I hope I've so persuaded you that. I have a couple of questions. First of all, who learned something new? Good stuff. Who had fun? Good stuff. I want to thank you so much. And look, I now have two terrible dogs, so it worked out. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.